Hello, Uyi. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Mike. It's so good to be here today.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Let's get straight to it, but let's get to meet you first. You are the co-founder of TechPatriots. What exactly does TechPatriots do?
Yeah, we're basically into tech consulting, providing solutions for organizations and individuals, as the case may be, to use digital skills to solve their organizational needs to achieve their objectives. So we usually summarize it as empowering organizations and people with the skills and practices required for them to help them achieve their objectives.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Now, this topic today is a topic that affects everyone, from whether you're using a phone to go online, a laptop, a system, even your TV, whatever way. What are those habits that can make people an easy target for scam online?
Okay. So let me just lay this foundation. Technology is good, but people are not always good. All right. So we have the good and the bad and the ugly out there on the internet, in the digital space. So if you're not careful, if you don't act in knowledge, you can easily be a target for scammers. So the first one, which is very popular, is giving too much information online. For example, you're giving information about your exact address, your exact phone number. Now, some forms may require you to do that, but before you fill those forms, you have to be sure that privacy issues are not compromised. If they're an organization, you have to be sure, and there are ways to know these. All right, there are simple ways to know this. Maybe in the browser, you just make sure that it's a secure site, and you always ensure that where you're typing into is exactly what you intended to. Let me give you an example. Maybe I'm filling a form from, let me say, TVC, for example. Or maybe your website is, let me say, tvc.com, for example, just example. So I'm to fill a form, it's tvc.com. But when I clicked on it, I started seeing tvcb.com. So something was added to it without me knowing, because my mind is still reading TVC, but I started giving all the information without checking what is up there. Sometimes these hackers, they could hijack lines along the way. All right, let me just use general term. They could hijack lines along the way and sniff out the information. So if there's any way you have to give personal details or details that are very personal, especially when you may have to make payment along the way, always keep your eyes on the browser to ensure that what you're clicking is the same thing you started with. Wonderful. Yes, there might be extensions sometimes. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, you are talking about the URL. You should ensure that it is exactly where you want to go at every time. You make sure you check. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yes. Sometimes they may have extensions, maybe /something leading you to a page, but the primary URL, the first www.this.com should be the exact one you started with. The extensions will come after, but always ensure that that is the one you started with when you're giving those information, because you really have to give information sometimes. But then, apart from areas that you're intentionally giving information, be careful about where you drop your information online, especially personal information and also payment details. As we engage further, I'll cite some other examples and things you can do to keep yourself from being a target of being scammed. Yeah.
All right, wonderful. Now that's one that you've spoken about. Talk to us about other habits that you have to make sure, whenever you're surfing, even without surfing also, there are even just some ways, there's some ways that even by just being there and not taking necessary precaution, you just may be open to scams. Just tell us of some other points that you want to make.
Okay, another very common thing we see is emails. All right, especially if in corporate. All right, a lot of communication is done via email, sometimes via WhatsApp. And you see these links in your email sometimes that you click this, some are from a marketing company, some are from affiliate companies, just different things. Some of them could even be official emails. All right, so there's some links that could be there that they may require you to click. So if it's not a link you're familiar with, if it's not a link that you already know, or you were already pre-informed that you're going to click this link, be very careful. Because there's what we call phishing. If you click on some of those links, some of them may require for your personal information, while some of them you give them access to your system, to the device you're using. And now remember, your device, they house a lot of information. All right, let me give you how your device may be housing information that you may not know. Sometimes when you're downloading apps, when you're installing applications, they may require for certain things. Some of them are maybe subscription based, and you have to put your card details for recurrent subscription. So they have your details. So if you're not very conscious, or you don't have good security softwares, those things are resident on your client side, on your browser, on your caching, like that. And sometimes these phishing links, they sniff those things from your system and they can steal those information. And they can, of course, hit you where they want to hit you, maybe your account and the rest. All right. Now, there are two kind of things when we're looking at scam. There's one about those that hackers use to access your system without authority, while there are some that are just psychological, that people just see, scammers just see out there, and they know that, okay, fine, we can hit on this person, we can DM this person, we can call this person and cook up some stories and all that and get to you, maybe out of desperation or out of need. All right, so be wary of the links you click in your email, all those forwarded messages in WhatsApp. They may say the government is empowering youth, is empowering people like this, so click this link. Be wary of those links.
You know, yeah, go ahead. Okay.
In fact, recently, of course, not statistically proven, but by observation, over 80% of those links are fake. They are not true. So what they do is sometimes they look at maybe a government intervention. They look for or a corporate organization, something that already has an authority symbol, and they use a name similar to their name, not exactly the name, something similar. And they send it via WhatsApp group, of course, talking about desperation and all that. They send it via WhatsApp group. Now, the funny thing is there are some people who disseminate these messages without even verifying them or going through them. And before you know, they are spreading information and people go about clicking those links, and some of them give certain information. In fact, some of them, they'll be telling them, if you don't pay 10,000, pay 20,000 so that you'll be shortlisted to get this grant, to get this loan, to get this thing like that. The government hardly does that. But because of people are desperate and ignorant at the same time, it's not a good mix. Ignorance and desperation is not a good mixture at all. Like that, they become victims of these scams.
Wonderful.
So be wary of those kind of things. And most times, the government is doing anything, there are official sites where they put those information. So look for the official sites and don't just go through WhatsApp link. If you don't know any better, send them to a tech person, somebody that is more knowledgeable to help you verify. I do that a lot for people. Sometimes they just, Mr. Hui, people have access to me. Can you help me check if this is legit? So sometimes I just run a check and like, no, don't even click anything. It's not legit. So if you have people around you, you can take advantage of that. But if you don't have people around you, just look at it and know. Some of them, you don't even have to click the link. Just go online and check the exact topic they're talking about, and you see the official link. And many times they are different from what they're sending to you. Don't even bother clicking the link. You may not be able to handle what comes after.
You know, wonderful. It is. You talking about this WhatsApp link, because I know a number of people who they just click the link. Some of them they put a code, and that's how their WhatsApp was hacked. You know, just a little thing. Sometimes after the link, there's now a space for a code. So that means that you even had a chance to turn back. But somebody sends you a code and they tell you, use this to update something. You know, that's style. You know, can you talk a little bit about that one?
Okay, let me give you an information. Okay, there's one I did a little work on recently. Okay, not so recently, like sometime last year or last 2 years. I called it the alumni scam. So they use different ways to do it. So you just get a random message, but maybe if you join the group and all that, or you just get a random message and the person tells you that, oh, did you attend so and so school? Possibly they've got your details somewhere, and so you're an alumni of this, alumnus of this school. You're like, oh yeah. So they're trying to connect. So they come from a place of knowledge where they think you already have an information. So or you share something in common. So they say, are you part of this? Oh yeah, I'm an alumni of this school, or I belong to this group or this religious organization or this community and all that. They'll now say they're having a meeting. And that meeting, you need this code to be able to access the meeting. They might even say it's a Zoom meeting. Exactly. So you're not like, so you now.
Well, you know what happens, please, we have you for a month. We will pick up from exactly this point, because this one, exactly, this season Zoom one, it exactly happened to two people I know. As in, this format you are giving, exact same format. We have you for the whole month, the rest of the month, about 4 episodes. We will pick up on this, and we'll still be talking about ways for people to safeguard themselves from being scammed. But we have to go just because of time. It's been a pleasure talking to you. We'll have you next Thursday, and we'll continue on this. Thank you so much, Uyi.
All right, thank you so much.